Hello, my name is Neil. I'm the student nurse practitioner here that's going to start off this examination. This is Haley. This is my wife. She's volunteered to help us out today with the examination. So the first thing we're going to start off with is just a simple inspection. Before I'm going to say, I'm just going to wash my hands. My hand sanitizer is over there, but I'm not going to grab it. So wash my hands, introduce myself to you. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a general inspection of her head. So looking at how her symmetry of her face, but also for cuts, lesions, and bruises. Nothing is particularly noted. No abnormalities that I would say that need to be addressed at this time. So next portion, what we're going to do is we're going to do palpation. We're going to go through her hair, checking for cuts, bruises, bumps. We're also going to note hair contour and also check for temporal lobes. Nothing is particularly noted at this time. So we'll move on to her eyes. If you want to look at me just for a moment. We're looking at her eyebrows, eyelids, eyelashes, looking for scaliness in the skin, cuts, lesions, particularly maybe some bruising. Nothing is noted. Exudate, nothing is really there. If you want to look at me, look at her conjunctiva. Okay, both are appropriate color, and there's no extra exudate with this as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go on to looking at her extraocular eye muscle movements. So what we'll do is have you cover up one of your eyes first for me. Okay. I want you to follow this finger with that other eye. Okay. Let's go up, down, out to the side, back, down, and over. Up, down. Wonderful. Cover the next eye. Okay. Focus on this. Up, down, out to the side, up to the side, in the middle, up. Okay. No deviation noted, and also when she's covering her eyes, I'm also watching for pupil reaction as well. Nothing particularly that would note any kind of kyphosis or anything like that. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to check her eye reflex. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stare straight at me. Okay. Both pupils are round and reactive, as well as we are watching the oppositional reaction in the pupil as well, which is noted. So keep my otoscope with me, actually. So the next thing what we're going to do now is we're going to be checking for the internal structures of the eye itself. So what I want you to do is I want you just to stare at me. We're going to look first and foremost for the light reflex, or the light reflection, excuse me. Okay. We're noting for structures including the retina and the optic disc. Perfect. Okay. No lesions in the eye that are noted, and nothing particularly that I would say is worrisome at this time. No separation. I don't know if there's something separation I can really note at this time, but yes. So moving forward, after we have done the eye, we're going to move on, and I'm just going to do the nose since we're right here. So if you want, just looking up for a moment. Okay. We're looking at the external structures as well. Nose particularly looks quite symmetric. No abnormalities on the outside. The septum itself is actually quite straight. turbinates are noted. No. So turn it off. Oh, great. Oh, I don't have any more power in my thing. Okay. Well, as far as there's not really any mucus, lesions, redness, or swelling that is noted in her nose. So we will move on to the eyes. Oh, there we go. And it dies out. Okay. So we'll just note, first and foremost, maybe this will get a little more of a charge. If you mind just looking at the television there for a moment. We're going to look at her ear, just palpate it. Do you have any sharp pains at all when I'm tugging or pulling?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Okay. Have a look at the plants. Again, is there any kind of sharp pain that you're noting? Okay. As far as skin is appropriate, as well as your external ear structures. So no redness or swelling on the outside. I don't think this is going to give me enough light, so we're just going to pretend. So if I just have you stare at this way real quick, make sure that our is appropriate. Okay. So my light's gone out, but what I have noted, before the recording, there was no redness or swelling. Light reflex would have been good. She also did have her tympanic membrane was a little bit swollen or sunken against the bony structures in her middle ear. That's something just to note at this point. Nothing that I would have any kind of cause for alarm. So, what we have next, if you want to open your mouth for me for a moment. So I also want to note the external structures of her lips. There's no cuts, lesions, bruising. You can open your mouth too for me. I would use the light to look at the back, look at our pillars, look at our uvula, the tonsils. The tonsils were noted to be at 2+. Maybe lift up your tongue for a moment. Membranes look appropriate. No lesions. Moisture is appropriate. There's no like exudate that's malodorous or colored. You can close your mouth now if you want. Okay. Moving forward now, we're going to be looking at, we'll just go to the lymph nodes. So what we'll start off with is we're going to go with the preauricular, postauricular, okay, the occipital, tonsillar, submandibular, and the mental. Okay. And what I'm looking for in the lymph nodes, I'm looking for hardness, I'm looking for swelling, which wasn't noted with her, so we're okay there. Next is we're going to look at neck structures and inspect that. So if you want to move your hair back so I can see your neck a little bit better. Thank you. Just off the note, just noting when we're watching reactions without any kind of prompting. Tone looks appropriate. What am I trying to say? Midline, her right. So since I can't think of anything right now, we're just gonna move forward. If you want to just look into the plants there for a second. Perfect. Look to the television there. Okay. Okay, straight back to me. Muscle definition is noted. So now we're gonna go on to palpating. I'm gonna palpate your throat here. Okay. Thyroid is noted. No swelling. Thank you. So her trachea is midline. That's what I meant to say here just a while ago. And yeah, I don't see anything that's really pertinent as far as anything else goes. If you might just kind of like bend your neck down and go there and lift it back up for me. Kind of like hyperextend your neck out there a little bit. Movement is appropriate. Any kind of pain noted when you're moving around?
No.
Okay, good. So I think we can move on from there. So next I think we're going to start off with our just the lungs and the chest itself. So visually, the chest, we're going to be looking for anterior posterior ratio. We're going to be looking at her ribs. Haley has asked that we just keep her shirt on and do some of the examinations over it, so that's just fine. We'll kind of adhere to that, but we're going to also just kind of note everything else as well. So musculature, like kind of any kind of skin tone issues would have been looked for. So at this time, there's nothing that I particularly see or alarmed by. Next, we're going to go into the auscultation portion of our section for the chest. We're going to be listening to the lungs, and we'll start off by looking at the posterior part. Okay, if you mind just moving your hair to the front. Okay. Yeah, just take some deep breaths for me. Thank you. Okay. Breath in. Okay. So lung sounds were appropriate, clear, without any kind of adventitious sounds. One thing that we also want to watch for when we're looking at her lungs is we're going to be looking for chest expansion. So we'll kind of watch and see the in, the out, if there's kind of deviations with the breathing, which wasn't noted. So I think we're appropriate to go back on now. So we'll start off with doing the cardiovascular portion of our exam. So what we'll do is we'll first start off with listening to the heart with her sitting up. Okay. Okay, and then would you mind just lifting up your chest there for a moment? Thank you. Listen to the apex here. Wonderful. Okay. Let's do the same thing with listening to the bell. Okay. Okay, you mind lifting your chest one more time? Okay. You mind just laying down for me? Do you need a pillow or anything?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Okay. Good. Wonderful. S1 and S2 sounds were noted. Regular heartbeat. Nothing particularly False alarms, no. Murmurs, thrills, bruits of any kind. So I think we're good to move on from here. Okay, so just to start off, we're also going to do a peripheral pulse. So I'm just going to have you check. We'll start off here with the radial. That's the other hand. Okay, go up here. I'll lift up your legs there for me. Okay, posterior tibial and dorsal pedal. And repeat. One thing I can also note while I'm looking here is I can also note the temperature for skin while I'm checking. Also some edema in your feet. I'm just going to check real quick with any kind of edema in your legs, which isn't really noted. So we are set. Okay, next we're going to do the abdominal portion of the exam. So if you want, could you lift up your shirt up past your stomach? Wonderful, that looks good for me. So we'll start off with a visual inspection of her stomach. Cuts, bruises, any kind of marks in particular. We do have like one little mark up here in the left upper quadrant, but it doesn't look anything too particularly alarming. So, okay, we're going to move forward next. We're going to do auscultation. We're going to auscultate the 4 quadrants. I'm going to go a little bit underneath your pants there. Wonderful. We'll switch over here. We're going to listen to the aorta. Both renal arteries as well. Okay. Bowel sounds are active. Aorta is noted as far as the beat and sounds. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do our percussion. We're going to percuss over all 4 quadrants, also including the stomach bubble. We'll do the liver, and we'll also do the spleen. Okay, so we'll start off here. Perfect. Okay. Next we're going to do the liver, so we'll start at the top. Right about here. From here. So you hear the solid sounds from about here to about here, which is about 6 centimeters. Next we'll do the spleen, so if you want to take a deep breath in for me. And let it out. Okay. Tones are normal all the way through. So next what we're going to do is we're going to do a palpation. So we'll start off with a light palpation of the 4 quadrants. And this is a disclaimer, Haley hates this, so. Okay, deep breath in for me. Let it out. Great. Okay, we're going to check for her right kidney here. You can just let out that air. Okay, you feel it right about there. Deep breath in for me. Okay. Can't really palpate it. She's got kind of a hard stomach and she hates because she's ticklish, but we're going to just say that we've palpated the liver there. Okay. Stick my arm over here. We're going to check for the spleen. Deep breath. Thank you. Okay. We're finished with that portion now. So, Next is we're going to check inguinal lymph nodes and also the pulses as well. So we're going to start off right here. Okay. Looks good. And I don't feel any hardness or lumps around the area. So I wouldn't say there's any kind of abnormalities with the inguinal lymph nodes. Okay. I think the final thing is that we're going to kind of check hair and skin and nails. We'll just do that here in the hand and the arm. Okay. Nails are looking appropriate. They look healthy. Good color in all the skin. No lesions. No scaliness. So I think it's safe to assume that, or safe to say that no skin issues particularly. And then let me just look over real quick just to make sure I got everything. Okay, that's it.